Hey guys, I'm Janet on occasion, and today I'm playing another Total War Warhammer 2 Battle Replay. So this is a fun one actually. So I was playing quick battles, I ended up against JanetOn of Total Warhammer. So I hadn't actually done this matchup before, so we went Dark Elf, so I decided that I'd try out, Musion. Well, Vampire Count really, isn't it? Let's be honest, they're all the same. But anyway, I brought the Red Duke, so it's very thematic and fun. But yeah, I'd never done the Undead versus Dark Elves, so I thought this would be fun. So basically I went frontline of Graveguard. Like, these guys are resilient, they will be able to, you know, wail on pretty much any infantry. But also, I wanted a couple of Crypt Ghouls in here, so potentially, you know, good flanking force, but also so I could poison their front line. While my Graveguard got some killing done, so it just keep my front line going a lot longer, I think. Also, I do have 2 lots of Skeleton Spearmen for any cavalry, and I've also got 2 Corpse Carts on Unholy Lodestone, so these guys will regenerate in an aura, but given all the other stuff I've got going on, it's going to be quite hard to target these and to, you know, take them out on their own. So I think that'll be quite fun, actually. They're nice and cheap, they're only about, what, like 600 quid each, I think? So they get a lot of regen for everybody, so I don't have to worry about Invocation and Hex so much. I've also got a Banshee, because Dark Elves don't have a lot of magic attacks, honestly. None of their units have got magic attacks, so he'll have to use spells to take out the Banshee. Same for these Khan Wraiths. So these Khan Wraiths should be able to do some pretty good work. So I was kind of expecting him to just, you know, spam Chillwind a lot, to try and get rid of these guys, but I figured they'd be a nice, you know, sort of hindrance. So also great flanking forces, because they cause terror. They're so cheap to cause terror, it's great. I've also got Varric's Reavers. So these guys, really good. They regenerate on their own, and great anti-infantry. I think they'll be really useful for sort of chasing down shades and stuff like that. So it should be fun. So if we have a look at JanetOn's army. So you can see he's got Dread Spears in the front. So 3 units of them. He's also got Blackguard and Agarond. So quite wise, I think, having sort of Spearmen in the front line, because these guys will be able to do some serious damage to a lot of the Vampire Count's better stuff. Because, I mean, the Vampire Counts, they kind of rely on large units, which I haven't done in this army. So, yeah, so the Blackguard, probably not as useful as they, you know, should be. They will still pack a punch, though, let's be honest. So, also, he's got some Witch Elves, try and help things go berserk, and he can, you know, pin them down and kill them. And he's also got Black Ark Corsairs with hand bows, so these guys will do a ton of damage, and in melee, they can just slaughter zombies. So he doesn't really have to worry about that, which is pretty good. And, you know, he doesn't have to worry about the fact that they're not arm-piercing missiles, because, well, it's Vampire Counts, they don't really have a lot of armoured things. He's also got 2 Cold One Knights, you know, for sort of dealing with any, you know, Blood Knights or anything like that. And he's actually got Malekith on foot. Oh no, he's not on foot, is he? No, he's on a Cold One. Yeah, fair enough. So, let's speed things up and see how it goes. So, straight away, I'm going to start, you know, just charging in. I don't want these guys to get killed by Cold Ones. So, I'm actually going to do something a little bit weird here, which is, I'm going to charge straight to Spearmen, because I wanted to see how well they do. And, turns out they're not bad. I also send the Banshee in ahead of everybody. Because might as well, right? He's not really, you know, she's not in any danger. So, here, charge in, and you'll see it'll do a fair bit of damage. Yeah, not a huge amount. But as you can see, even with all these handbows shooting at me, like, that was a pretty good trade for me. And these guys are going to regenerate, so that's fine. And it means he's shooting at these guys instead of this. So I'm pretty happy with that. It's also keeping him a bit busy while I get around the flanks. Because really, I kind of want to get these Khan Wraiths on his cavalry, because these guys won't take much damage from the cavalry, but they are armor-piercing, so they should do pretty well. So here, I will pull the Varric's Reavers out now. You can see they're taking about as much damage as the Spears. And here, he's trying to pull through his, you know, Cold One Dread Knights. He's getting caught up on a bit of everything, honestly. So in the back, trying to get on his hand bows, because I don't really want him shooting at me. Because, I mean, look at this. Doing quite a lot of damage here to my Corpse Cart. So also, I'm pretty sure, yep, summon some zombies on top of him. So that's pretty useful. Also, Varric's Reavers are going to try and get around the back and do some damage to this stuff. So that's pretty good. So Khan Wraiths coming around the back. And I'm not sure where I go. I think I go for the middle. So Gaze of Malekith, you'd think it would do more damage. The Gaze of Malice, rather. But it doesn't actually do a huge amount of damage. I'm not sure if it causes magic damage or not. I'd assume not, for, you know, how little it did to Khan Wraiths. So here he is trying to get around the back to deal with the Varric's Reavers. So I'm happy to sort of throw these away to some extent, because you can see I've got pretty much everything surrounded. Yeah, here, you know, that flank's gone, their centre's gone. This flank's still fighting, but it's only Spearman versus Spearman, so, you know, it's kind of what you'd expect. Blackguard are taking significant damage there and there. So I've got, you know, a Banshee and a Red Duke, you know, hoping to fight Malekith here. And my Graveguard and my Khan Wraiths are both going mental, thanks to these Witch Elves, but the Witch Elves are suffering hugely. Annoyingly though, here I couldn't actually escape from these Cold One Knights, so I try and regenerate these guys a bit, but they're not really built for taking on this kind of thing. So I could have probably used them a little bit more carefully. But I was hoping to just give him more to worry about so he couldn't help his front line out, because my front line was winning hugely, and these guys are going to be no use to, to his front line. They'd be good for like cycle charging and stuff, but like, yeah, we've dealt with their front line mostly, so yeah, so it's pretty good. Also, they've both gone on Rampage, which is great for me, so that's going to attack whatever. So, okay, Facebook's shouting at me, but ignore that. That's my Facebook. Don't bother checking notifications. So here, you can see I did get Varix Reavers into these guys, but they're gone. They're gone. These guys are pretty good at melee, to be honest. And yeah, the fact they can shoot while moving, it's a real nuisance, honestly. So here, as you can see, the Red Duke has taken a ton of damage, but he is a little bit, iffy about keeping Malekith in there, especially with LC for, being used on him. So his physical resistance and melee defense has gone right down, as well as his speed. But here, I decided I need to shut down these handbows, so I sent Red Duke straight in there, and let the Banshee just bother Malekith for a while. So here, units are coming back in again, but it looks like I'm going to deal with these guys. I've got Skeleton Spearmen in here, really cheap way to deal with them. I've got some Grave Guard, and the Corpse Cart is going to be healing them. Over here, amazingly, these guys are sandwiched. Look at this, these Blackguard are still fighting. Despite the fact they've got these, ethereal, armor-piercing units in the back, and these guys in the front. It's pretty crazy, honestly. So my Skeleton Spearmen got wiped out by their Dread Spears. Kind of expect that, right? So, yeah, it's pretty hectic, honestly. Pretty hectic. So, you can see Handbow's doing a ton of damage still. It's really annoying. And, actually, my Khan Raids are starting to have enough here. They're a little bit uneasy about the situation. Which, I don't think they need to be, but, Khan Raids are fickle. So, yeah, still trying to shoot the Red Duke, so I'm running around in circles. I get the Banshee in here, as well as some zombies, starting to whittle away their health, but it's taking ages. He's being so careful with these handbows. Over here, Blackguard finally starting to go, but that has held out for a long time. As of these Blackguard, to be honest, though, they weren't completely sandwiched. So, here, I do actually have the Corpse Cart in melee, which I probably shouldn't, but again, nice invocation to heck all these guys to keep fighting. And, I mean, this pocket's winning, that pocket's winning. This was the only one that was starting to falter at all. So, nice invocation to heck. And here, Gazer Malekith will finish these guys off, because they are crumbling now. So, that's a real shame for me. It did some work. So here, Banshee's still trying to deal with these guys, but it's taking ages. Finally getting some spearmen on them. It's something at least. And the Red Duke is completely surrounded by, what are they, Dread Spears. So he'll be able to kill Dread Spears all day. I mean, he is mounted, so the anti-large bonus will help him. But you can see I'm nearly my healing cap, so that's not ideal for me. So yeah, any damage is going to be permanent now. So here, Blade Wind comes down. That will do a ton of damage to the Khan Raids if it hits them well. But honestly, I was so spread out charging in here that, yeah, it didn't really get a good hit. And now I can finally just go for Malekith. Everything else is broken. And he's just surrounded by ethereal units and nonsense. So this is going to be very, very tough for him. These Dread Spears coming to help and yeah, decide they're better off not bothering. So yeah, so that's about it really. So I think fantastic choice with the handbows. These guys are so formidable in melee. So having those guys that can just sit in the back line, you keep moving them away, but they'll shoot while moving. So they're actually getting value as they retreat. And a lot of value as well, because, there's so few armoured targets they need to worry about that those missiles are going to do a ton of damage to anything else. So, yeah, doing some damage to them. It's not over yet, apparently. Wow. Okay, so yeah, shows how good these guys are. And now they've shattered. But yeah, the handbows, I think, are just an excellent pick. Because they're like free company militia, but they can shoot while moving, and they're better in melee. So, it's just great. Like, you don't need armour-piercing missiles in this matchup, against the Vampire Counts or, Musion. So I think it's absolutely fantastic. And the amount of damage they were doing to everybody. I mean, look, like 40, 50 kills each. I mean, that's pretty good. That's pretty formidable. It's not huge, but like that's pretty damn good, I think. For just like fairly cheap-ish sort of, skirmishing units. And the zombies didn't slow them down. They just killed all the zombies, It wasn't a problem for them. So I really like these guys. And obviously if I'd brought like Vargulfs and things like that, they could just focus fire on it and they could take them down pretty quickly. Because that's a lot of missiles to deal with. But, they're dual purpose. He can still fight off most things in melee. I mean, yeah, they could have easily beaten the Skeleton Spearmen, could have easily beaten the Crypt Ghouls. Maybe not that easily, but pretty well, I think. They would have beaten the Crypt Ghouls. The Grave Guard would have been a little bit of trouble, but they're really slow. So he could have just walked away from the Grave Guard all day. Khan Raids, though, definitely a problem. I think ethereal units are good to bring in this matchup. Because, yeah, there's just no answer to him, really. Yeah, you've just got to keep hitting him with spells. And if you didn't bring like a cheap spell like Chill Wind, you're just not going to be able to get through him. However, if you did have Chill Wind, this would probably be a massive waste of money. So, maybe they're not the best pick. I don't know. It's hard to tell. Also, one thing to point out is Malekith had Destroyer, his sword, and it gives a plus 45 second recharge to abilities, to enemies, and honestly, the amount of times I couldn't do anything with the Red Duke was just ridiculous. So often I just couldn't put down spells, I couldn't use Elsif, you know, it's ridiculous. That ability really helped him in this engagement, because I couldn't just spam all the Red Duke's abilities and just annihilate him, which was huge. It was massive bonus. So I think definitely in this matchup, you know, get Malekith on the heroes and bring Destroyer, because he will just stop them having any utility. Especially because he was my only spellcaster. You know, I just had the corpse cards, not necromancers on corpse cards. So he was the only person that could use Invocation to Heck or Raise Dead or anything like that. And Malekith just stopped him using it. It was mad. So it was really impressive. But still, I think it's a tough matchup, and I definitely brought sort of it was a weird build to bring, to be honest. He was very prepared to deal with like Vargulfs and Terrorgeist and stuff like that, which is what most people tend to bring. But I just didn't bring any of that, so I gave him no choice, really, but to just have a big, you know, frontline fight, which he wasn't really prepared for. I mean, the Black Guard obviously did amazing, because they're just great troops, you know. But still, I just overran him. I mean, no Spearmen, 5 kills, 11. Some of the Witch Elves did okay, but it's tough. It's definitely tough. So, guys, if you enjoyed this, please do comment, like, subscribe, and go check out John Torn's channel. Have a good one, guys.